there's still a lot of cave to find in Ogof Marros. The end of the known cave is only around half an hour from the entrance. But getting there involves an obstacle course of vertical shafts, tight body squeezes, twists and turns, and loads of loose boulders to avoid.
Hasn't got more ergonomically straightforward.
God, it looks squalid on film.
There's a slight amount of movement in the roof here, but basically it's not too bad, is it?
Yeah. When were you down here last?
Actually, at least a year.
Right.
You can still hear that rumble in the distance.
The worst part of the route used to be the constriction, a squeeze in the rushing stream under a very loose boulder roof. So we dug a safer route through the choke past a massive wedged boulder to make a climb that brings us out at the top of the choke. We can now visit the beautiful Wildest Dreams passage in flood. It is a spectacular mix of dancing water and decorations. Now the twists and turns are to avoid damage to these fragile formations. There was real disappointment when the river passage that must lead to miles of new cave ended in a large choke of collapsed boulders. We could see the water rushed through without a problem, so hopes were high that we would get through just as easily. That's what we thought 3 years ago. Our first attempt tried to follow the water through the base of the choke. It swirled around in narrow gaps and under boulders.
So there's a rift that goes off that way. It bows out at the bottom.
Okay, it's small, but
When the weather improved and the stream level dropped, we squeezed through the gaps for a few metres. Then they narrowed and were only large enough for an arm or a leg, but not for a whole person. Trying to remove any rocks would bring the roof down, so that was the end of that idea. Next we found an open rift that was higher up.
Phil, we're just putting around in some boulders in the roof.
It started well, with solid-looking walls.
It is interesting. Bedrock on one side. Yeah.
Though it was not clear whether these were made of huge boulders or of bedrock.
No, all this started shifting.
what, as soon as you started hammering?
Yeah.
The passage ended 3 metres later in muddy boulders with a hanging death roof a few metres above, and seriously nasty to undermine. Several of us had experiences with falling rocks here, and so we looked elsewhere. To try to get away from where the cave was throwing rocks at us, we looked much higher up and found a calcite cemented tube, which might be a possible route over the top, at least round the edge of the choke.
Yes.
That way,
Yeah.
the little chamber. Following that same line straight ahead. Oh, I wonder if it goes on beyond. So I've got passages to left and right. There's a rift, so there's a few different things.
Have we got the feathers here?
Yep.
For several months, we excavated a long passage. Much of it has a reasonably solid left wall.
I'm stuck.
And cemented boulders in the roof. We came to trust it after a few visits.
Oh, look, under there.
Still boulders, but...
It's basically pretty much all calcited.
How's your shoulder?
Not too bad.
Nice blue oversuit.
When we had dug about 15 metres, a tiny black hole was seen up through the boulders.
Did you see up in there?
I took out a big boulder here in this area with surrounding loosish stuff, and there's a hole which is whistling with a draft.
One lacked the testicular fortitude to go fiddling with them.
What's the ceiling like above you?
I've seen better.
And there was huge excitement as stones were rolled away to reveal a chamber.
This is absolutely amazing.
A boulder made a slanting roof, and there was room enough for 3 people.
The roof looks quite solid.
But there was no obvious way on. This was the chamber of shattered dreams.
I pulled some rocks out and you can see down the side, almost as if it cascades off. I can hear water down there.
We began to break into a tiny slot at the far end and could see loads of loose rocks and plenty of small spaces around them. Gradually we rearranged the rocks and could squeeze forward.
The one you're levering against moved.
The roof boulders suddenly slipped, allowing just enough time to escape. That was it.
Couldn't even tip them over, they were too big to even sort of roll over.
We went back to the middle of the choke and found a gap low down.
It's about a couple of metres down.
This was cleared of tons of rocks.
I think we're going to have to secure our way in though.
To a space we named the Shark's Cage. Fangs of boulders pointed downwards from all directions, and it was not at all clear what was holding them up.
So this is the actual shark
cage. Yeah, as you can see, it's a super safe ceiling above us.
All that excellent new scaffolding.
Some very brave or foolhardy attempts to reach the stream below.
He's got to go around the bend. He's already around the bend, we know that. But he's going around the bend now. So there's a rift coming off at the bottom. A hole, maybe a football-sized hole. And through that you can see open space and the river.
You go feet first, quite wisely. You just don't touch anything.
After about 10 digging days, it had to be abandoned.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. End of story for today.
No matter what way we go though, it's not going to yield.
There are still 1 or 2 leads we are checking, and we have found several small, amazing and unique passages. They have still only been visited by 2 or 3 people and filmed, so these pictures are special and are first shown in this video. We hope you'll enjoy seeing them.
Alright. Just watch your shoulder on there. Very fair.
That's okay. You can definitely move over there.
You're right now. The ceiling is okay for crawling. Picture apart from that little twiglet thing.
Yeah.
Talked about.
There's something going on tonight and it's not.
Curtains have been dipped into a crystal pool.
Stick your head up in here, it would be worth it.
Thanks for watching this adventure, and hopefully there will be an episode 3 when we break through into the miles of cave passages that must lie beyond the choke.
So we have this rift in the roof. We had a look at it years ago, but we had better leads back then. So once we've run out of all the good stuff to do, we started to attack this one. The rift does get a lot higher once you get in there. I'm not too sure why that is, but we're hoping that we're effectively following this void in the roof until the cave sorts itself out again, and then we can maybe drop down into the